Welcome back. We are still in Module 4. We're on Topic 1, Lesson 3, What's in a Name? The Rational Number System. Today we're going to classify numbers into different sets and different categories, and hopefully you'll have a better understanding of some of the terms that you hear, like integers, ellipsis, rational numbers, and the density property. Learning goals: classify numbers according to their number systems, apply and extend an understanding of whole numbers and integers to the system of rational numbers, understand ordering of rational numbers. Right now, the only term in there that you probably are familiar with is whole numbers. So let's get started so we can get this figured out here today. So in the review, it says represent each decimal or percent as a fraction in lowest terms. So it wants each of them written as a fraction, not as a decimal. So the first one is fairly straightforward and pretty easy. It's read 3/10, so as a fraction, it's just 3/10. Not hard at all. And we can move on to the next one. Number 2 says 2 and 8/10. So that's going to be a whole number 2 and then 8/10. Well, 8/10 can be reduced. So when we reduce 8/10, we will reduce that to 2, and we can divide them both by 2, 4/5. But then it wants it just as a fraction, not as a mixed number. So let's turn it into an improper fraction. We multiply here. 5 times 2 is 10. And then we add here 14. So 14/5 is our answer for that. Okay, 3/4%. So this one's a little bit tricky. It's less than 1 whole percent. So the best way to write this, percents are out of 100. So if we just do 3/4 out of 100, for example, if I said you had an 80% on a test, we could say you had 80 out of 100 questions correct, or an 8 out of 10 questions. If we put it in terms of 100, it would look like that. So if we turn this 100 into a fraction by making it 100/1, then we have 3/4 divided by 100. Well, instead of dividing a fraction, which this is written like this as well, if we just write it horizontally instead of vertically, instead of dividing, we will multiply by the reciprocal. So let's do that. Keep, change, flip. And now if we multiply straight across as normal, we have 3/400. And that is our lowest terms on that one. And then moving on, 212%. Well, again, if we just put it over 100, that's how we would write it, out of 100. And then to reduce that, let's see, I know 100 divides by 25, does 212. So 212 divided by 25. Well, I know 25 goes into, let's just do this division here. Oh, you know what? That's not going to work. Let's try its pair. So you see how my thinking changes along the way here. So let's try dividing by 4, because it's not going to go into 25. It would have to end in 25, 50, or 0, 75. So that one's not going to work. So let's try 4. 4 times 5, 20. Subtract, we have a 1, bring down a 2. There we go. So if I divide them both by 4, because what I do to the top by, do to the bottom, I would have 53/25. If I were to reduce that any further, because it says lowest terms in my directions, I know 25 is divisible by 1, 5, and 25, and 53 is not divisible by 5 or 25, so that is my final answer. Okay, next page, the getting started. So this is some directions I'm going to give you and then set you off to do something. So it says cut out the cards found on page 563. It looks like this. Then analyze and sort the numbers into different groups. You may group them in any way that you feel is appropriate, but you must sort the numbers into more than one group. And then in each of your groups, figure out a title that would fit it. Why did you put it in that particular grouping? And write a rationale for why you did. So give it a title, tell me why. And then it says here that you're going to compare with other classmates. If you're at home and doing this, you're not going to be able to do that, and that's okay. So go ahead and pause, and you're going to flip over here to page 563 if you have your text at home. If you don't have your text, you can just use the screen as your guide and just write them out on a piece of paper. So these are the numbers that you're going to use or cut out, whichever way you're going to do it. And then check back in with us for activity 1.